Hello, and thanks for joining us for France in Focus. This week, we'll be talking about football and Euro 2016, and what better place to do that than Clairefontaine, home of one of France's elite football academies, as well as the training ground of the French national team. This staircase is a symbolic location, as every young French player one day dreams of walking up these steps to join Les Bleus. See how France prepared for this big event and if Les Bleus have a chance of winning the title this year. But first, let's kick off this edition with a look at some facts and figures about Euro 2016.
For the third time in the history of the championship, France is hosting the Euro. The country had to satisfy more than 100 criteria required by UEFA for the honour, such as quality of transport or capacity to handle the influx of spectators. For the first time, 24 sides will be playing instead of the 16 last time round, meaning 24 corresponding base camps around France for each team to stay. There'll be 51 matches played at 10 different stadiums. But hosting the Euro doesn't come cheap. France shelled out €1.64 billion not just to build new stadiums, but to renovate old ones too. It's still a sound investment though. With a €450 million budget for the occasion, UEFA's hoping to recoup €700 million, and France should net some €1.2 billion in profits tied to the occasion. Then there are the people who volunteered to work the event, at least 6,500 in all, who'll be helping handle between 7 and 8 million people set to descend on France over the course of a month. There are 2.5 million tickets up for grabs from €25 to €895 each. And for those who missed out, there are fan zones with giant screens. Far easier on the wallet than premier seating, they'll be free to all.
We're here at the heart of the Clairefontaine residence in the living room, the Salon Aimé Jacquet, named after the coach that led the French national team to its one and only World Cup victory. This is where players relax in between training sessions and official games by playing foosball, pool, or even video games. And while Les Bleus have the luxury of staying in a familiar setting, all the other teams had to find a home away from home for the duration of the competition, much to the delight of local residents.
Swedish, not French flags flying on the seafront in Pornichet. This small town of 10,000 inhabitants is preparing to host Zlatan Ibrahimovic and his teammates. They're home for the duration of the tournament, this four-star hotel, where even the beds have been shipped from Sweden.
They're going to install sports equipment in the lobby and a relaxation area on the patio. They're also going to come with their own menus.
To have diligent staff is one thing, to have a training ground nearby is something else. Here on Ile de Ré, the Spanish team will have not one, but two camps. And these gardeners are hard at work, using the UEFA-approved lawnmowers.
When they're here, there'll be one grass cutting session before and another after their training. So we'll be mowing every day.
A system has been set up to prevent curious onlookers from peeping in. An all-encompassing tarpaulin. But a public training session has been arranged for the Reds on June the 13th. The island's little footballers are overjoyed.
I hope we can play with them. We're going to see them for real.
Back in Pornichet, one word at a time, the school children are preparing ahead of the arrival of the Swedish team.
Who's coming? Perfect. How would you greet him?
We've learnt the flag, the capital, and some words. For example, the capital is Stockholm, or something like that.
Pornichet has certainly gone out of its way to make Zlatan feel like he's playing on home ground.
We're now in the Clairefontaine Museum, a location dedicated to French football in all its glory. You've got jerseys worn by players over the years. You've got pictures and videos of past successes. And of course, Les Bleus' last European trophy, that of the Euro 2000. Now, to get a feel of what's at stake this time around, we met with David Ginola, a former French international turned TV presenter. David Ginola, thank you for being with us to talk about this Euro 2016. Obviously now, today, you're a TV presenter, but during your playing career, you played in major European clubs, in France with PSG, in the Premier League in England with, among others, Tottenham. You also had 17 international caps with the French team. How do you compare playing for a big club and playing for your country wearing that jersey?
It's still football, but for me, it's a major difference because when you play with your club, you obviously training day in, day out, week in, week out. It's all year long, and you're spending a lot of time with your teammates. Playing as an international, you don't spend much time together, so you don't have time to rehearse a lot of things. And so that's probably the major difference, not really for the players, but for the manager itself, the one who is gonna bring the right things at the right time.
And what does it mean for a player to be selected, to be playing for the country?
Well, you need to be proud of it because it's just an honor for you to be there and standing in any stadiums thinking, well, I'm going to play for my country.
So for the French, it's going to be even more emotional because they're playing at home. 18 years after the World Cup in France, that turned out pretty well, so it can be a blessing.
Well, yes.
But it can also be a curse. We've seen Brazil completely crashing at their own World Cup.
Yep.
Is it a blessing or a curse to play at home a competition like that?
Well, put it that way. For the French, it has been a blessing because they played the first European Championship in 1984. They won it in France. They had the World Cup in 1998. You mentioned it. They won it. So 3 times in a row, I mean, it would be amazing if they can manage to win on the 10th of July and being crowded champion of Europe. I mean, it's going to be a massive achievement because obviously, as you said, playing on your home soil, I mean, it's something different. You have the pressure of the press, the people every day. Anywhere you go, you will have expectation on you, and I think it represents so much for people in France that the players, they will have to realize at one stage it's really important.
Now let's talk about a first in this competition. For the first time, 24 teams. What do you think about this expansion? Has it made the competition a little bit less competitive because of, quote, smaller teams being present?
No, I think it's great to extend to more teams, to have 24. I think is a great idea because you give an opportunity for some countries to be selected and to be qualified. Obviously, we will get the favorites: Germany, Italy, Spain, France, England, Belgium. But that's football, that's sport, that's all about beyond expectation.
Well, talking about the favorites, obviously everyone's talking about Germany. Can they do the double, the World Cup and the Euro, like France, like Spain?
Yes, they can. Of course they can. They got the talent, they got the quality. That's obvious to say that Germany is one of the favorites. But it would be interesting to see teams like Belgium, Spain, they got the revenge after the World Cup in Brazil.
Well, to finish, let's flash forward, July 10th.
Yeah.
Who's in the final?
France.
Who lifts the trophy?
France. I wish because we are a great nation of football and we are great people. See, we are all going down in the streets and kissing each other. It's not a question of colors, of religion. It's about being together as one. And I think it's only football who can do that. So if we can achieve that on the 10th of July, that would be amazing.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Back in November, during the Paris attacks, France were playing Germany in a friendly when the Stade de France was the target of suicide bombings. 7 months later, with millions of people expected to attend games across France, security is on everyone's mind. Here's what French authorities have planned to keep the event safe.
A chemical weapons attack in Nîmes Stadium as emergency services scramble to help victims. But this is no terrorism, it's one of 30 simulations in French cities set to host Euro 2016. Authorities are taking no chances, with intelligence services also gearing up, and a crisis management centre will be online 24/7.
We have 90,000 people, state employees, local authorities, private security and volunteers who will handle security for Euro 2016. 90,000 people, to give you some idea, is a little over an entire stadium seating capacity.
More than anything, avoiding a repeat of the May 21st Coupe de France final between Marseille and Paris is key. At the capital's Stade de France, visitors' stands were left in flames, while smoke grenades marked each of the home team's goals. What's more, security on entering the stadium left much to be desired.
When I bought my ticket, they told me once you pay, you get to the stadium and there'll be checks and barriers and an ID check and a search, but I didn't see a thing.
Another issue may be one of the proposed fan zones. Up to 8 million supporters are expected to pass through special areas where they can watch matches on giant screens. 15 have been classified at potential risk of hooliganism between rival fans, 5 of which could prove particularly violent. But Paris is determined things will go off without a hitch.
France has two objectives: succeeding with Euro 2016 such as it is, and showing that the nation has rallied, and it's not afraid of terrorism. Finally, the ultimate aim is to show that Paris is ready to contend in 2024.
Euro 2016's a major test for France, which will have to prove it's up to task if it wants to host further international events in future.
We wrap this edition of France en Focus here on the training pitch of Clairefontaine. Thanks for watching and see you again soon on France 24.